Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you the exact process that I use to send over 1,000 emails every single week without landing in the spam. This is a structure that we use both for our own emails that we send out for our business and for the clients that we have as well. I'm going to show you exactly how to do some of the things that I talk about in this video, so there's no sort of ambiguity and you're not left, wondering how to actually do this. This step-by-step process is going to show you how you can go from basically sending no emails to sending 1,000 emails every single week, consistently landing in the inbox in just under 2 weeks' time. So if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Ben Lister and I help agency owners to grow by documenting my learnings on this YouTube channel that help me to make multi-six figures per year. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive into the computer and I'm going to show you how the system works as a full overview. Okay, so the first thing to note about this is the overall structure that we have, okay? And so what you'll notice is that we have a lot of different domains in here and we have a lot of different email accounts. And the way that we like to structure this is that we only want to use .com emails, .com domains. So a lot of people will tell you that you can use different ones and it won't affect deliverability, but the angle that we're going from here is that .com domains are much more likely to be seen as legit and not a scam or anything like that if it does actually come from a .com domain. There's a theory that sometimes these actually do land in the inbox more than others, but I don't really buy that. The reason that we stick with .coms is because it's basically the same price. It doesn't really add any extra cost to going with .com or .net or .org or anything like that, and it just looks a lot more cleaner. And so the way that we structure this is that we like to have the agency name and then basically just different iterations of that would make sense, right? So you could have the agency, the dash agency, you could have team agency, team dash agency, HQ, we are, try, agency marketing, whatever it may be, right? So there's a million different ways to do this. And if you use the hyphen, the little dash, it still makes it look legit and it still works fine. And it means that you can make twice as many different domains. And so that's how you basically separate it out. And so every single email address that we create here, and if there's 12 here and we're creating 3 per domain, we're going to have 36. They all look legit. If you're going to have John or Jane or James, whoever it is, right? Every single one of these is going to look legit. It's not going to look like a scam or like some kind of dodgy email or anything like that. And what we like to do here is that we like to almost pretend that we have like 3 appointment setters, or if you're going to do 4, you can obviously stretch it to 4 or 5 accounts per domain. But obviously that's going to risk your deliverability a little bit more, which means you can send a little bit more emails if you want to, but it is going to risk it. But we pretend that we've got a few different appointment setters that work for us, right? But you can actually go and take some AI generated photo or some stock image of some different actors that they have out there and just use those as an email profile picture, right? And I've done this so many times, so many different emails that I've sent out with someone else's picture on, and I've never had any issues with this, even though some of the images are like very stock images and they're kind of out there. If you just did a reverse Google image search, you'd find them. But we can have just 3 different names here that we can use every single time. And so if you ever jump on a call with someone, you can talk about, oh, John sent you the email, right? Or Jane sent you the email, whoever it is, right? And this just means that every single one that we send out is completely unique. And so the person receiving the email is going to think that it's come from some kind of appointment setter, some legit business, because they have a very professional email and there's a .com domain, and it means that you can send out quite a lot because you have so many different accounts. And so the way this is overall structured is we want to send the replies that we get from these emails, so the cold emails go out from these ones, and then we want to send the replies that we receive straight over to what we call the master domain, okay? And so the way this works is there is something inside of all email softwares which is basically called email forwarding or auto forwarding, right? And if I just quickly show you in here, if you go to your Gmail, which most people will use, or you go to Outlook or whatever it is, if you go into your settings, there will be some kind of section for forwarding, okay? And in the Gmail, you can actually just click here and just click add a forwarding address, and then you put the email in that you're going to forward it to, right? So in your cold emails, go and log into this and then put the email accounts in here, and it will send you some code back. You just send it back, and then now it is logged as a forwarded email address. And so what will happen here is it's not just sort of forwarding the email as if I forwarded you an email. It would say, forwarded from Ben. What it would say here is that it would never even look like you forwarded the email. It would literally just send the email to you. And so you receive the email as if it's landed in your inbox, but it's actually been sent to your cold ones. And so what we can do here is we can have a email domain, a master domain that is receiving all these emails. It's not sending out any cold emails at all. And so the chance of this landing in spam is so incredibly small. And if we ever have a domain that gets blacklisted or an email account that just seems to get reported for spam and then that's it, so the deliverability goes down, what we can start to do is just pull this one out, create a new one in here, and instead of the agency, we can just have it called, like try agency or something like that, right? And then we can change these ones, and so now we basically still have this system running where, this one's gone dead, so we can either delete this or, maybe put it back in the warming pool, and then now we can use all of these other ones, and the email system is still going. And the master domain that we have here is just never, ever, ever going to get put into spam, because we're not sending cold emails out. We're just replying to emails that come to us. And so it's virtually impossible for you to land in spam if the only time you're emailing someone is when you're actually responding to an email. And so you'll start to notice that with this kind of structure, the chance that something breaks here that actually ruins the whole system is so incredibly small, because you can simply just switch out domains and simply switch out new accounts and stuff like that, add some in, and there will never be a moment where every single one of these instantly goes into spam, right? Sometimes you'll have weeks where, you've been running this for 4 or 5 weeks and a couple of them go, or 3 or 4 of them go, and it can be a little bit annoying, and maybe your volume is going to be lower, but it will never fully break, simply because it's so difficult to break the whole system, because Google or whoever it is, Outlook, whoever email software, is going to have to figure out that all of these are working together, and it's just virtually impossible, especially because each of these is going to be sending, 6 emails every single time. And so the way this is broken down to get yourself to 1,000 emails per week, 36 emails accounts, 6 emails per day per account, which is 216 emails per day total, and then that works out as over 1,000 emails every single week. And it's kind of crazy to think about. You can send 1,000 emails every single week, and only the email accounts are only sending 6 per day, which is kind of insane. And so you have, quite a lot of email accounts there, but when they're set up in this way, it's very, very difficult for them to all to land into spam all at once. And so, of course, once you make these email accounts, you don't just want to start sending out emails straight away. You want to use some kind of software that helps to warm them up, okay? Instantly is a very popular one. Smartly is very popular as well. We recommend at least 14 days for these to be warmed up. I have seen situations where you can have an email that's been warmed up for 7 days and you can slowly start to send out cold emails, but the volume that you want, where you're going to send 6 per day per account, you need to really wait 2 weeks in order to get to that volume. But having said that, it's not going to be the end of the world. You can send out a couple of cold emails here and there from the cold accounts when they are actually, still warming up. But before that is done, I wouldn't go to the full volume until, you've done at least 2 weeks of warm up. So if I just get these up, you can actually get the Smart Lead and the Instant Lead program for a lot cheaper than I thought, to be fair, because you only need this one here. So this one on the low man does 1,000 active leads. This one here does 2,000 active leads. But you can still send, 6,000 emails per month, which is basically going to be the limit that you're on here. And so you only need to spend, $34 a month. I think if you get the monthly one, $39 a month to get this with unlimited warm up. And so it's a pretty easy way to go and send out an absolute ton of emails. People prefer different ones, and maybe they prefer Instant and Smart Lead. I prefer Smart Lead personally, but it really depends on what you're actually looking for and just what looks the best and works the best for you. And I should also note, when you are setting up these accounts, I think if you use Google, I think the SPF and the DMARC is actually already set up. I think the DKIM is already set up. But what these are is basically just spam protectors. If you have these set up in your accounts, then it just means that you can actually go and send more emails. And so if I just quickly show you, I think I've looked into this earlier. Yeah. So if you just search DKIM, or I'll just show you, the ones are DMARC or SPF, and then you search your provider, like Google Workspace or Outlook, or whatever it may be that you're actually using, you can find very quickly a tutorial on how to set this up. It takes 2 seconds to do, but it means that you get 20 to 40% better deliverability, because the account or the provider that you're using knows that you're actually combating spam rather than actually helping it. If you don't have this turned on, it can be easy for your domain to be spoofed, and this means that obviously someone could be using this. But if you're actually turning all these on, it makes it difficult for someone to do that to you. And I think the SPF one also means that you are rejecting more spam as well. You have a better spam filter in there. I don't know the specifics of it, to be honest with you, but if you have all these set up, then your chance of landing in inbox is so much higher. And so when it comes to actually creating the master domain, the master email account, you don't have to do this for all of your cold emails. People think you actually do, but in my experience, we've never had to do this. But with the master domain, you want to make sure that you have the phone number recovery complete, the email recovery complete. You want to go and add a signature to your emails as well with some kind of location. This isn't a necessity for cold emails. I think some people think that it is, but if you're going to add a signature to your warm ones, because you're going to have responses from this, you want to add some kind of location. A little bit of a hack that I know is that if you search for any kind of place, right, like Toronto virtual office, you can literally come into here and find these virtual offices. And I think I've mentioned this before. And so if you live in, near Toronto or near London or whatever it is, you can come in here and find a virtual office, and you can just use this as your address. And it's a little bit of a hack, to be honest with you, because if someone searches this address up now, if I go and search this, for example, I'm going to end up finding loads of different businesses that actually work here or are registered here because obviously they paid for the service. And if you just put it in your email domain or your email signature, then no one's going to actually know that you're not paying for it, right? The chance that you get caught for this is just so incredibly low, and it means that you have some kind of registered address in your email signature. And then I would always make sure you add some kind of profile picture, a birthday in there if you can as well, and a gender, just because you want to give Google or Outlook, whoever you're using, just as much information as possible to know that you are actually, a legit person, right? I would just use your normal birthday and just a profile picture of yourself just to do this. So obviously the security is a little bit higher, so Google, whoever it is, knows that you're adding in proper information. Don't think there would be any sort of check or anything like that, not in my experience, but just adding that information in there just proves you're a little bit more legit and just gives you more credence and less chance of landing in the spam. And then another thing to note, I'm actually in the Smart Lead the email copy setup thing in here, right? And if I just quickly zoom in a little bit, there's this tool that they use in Smart Lead. I'm so sure that it's in Instantly as well. But if you use this sort of like curvy bracket and then you do a line in here, so this is like this one. It's like it's like above the return, but it's a bit of just a strange line. What this will do is if you start your emails like this, or you have a compliment, like you could have looks like you guys are doing great, and then we can have another compliment like looking good, or just anything like you look great. These are probably not great compliments to use. If you just click save and next and then you go to the final review, I'll show you what these look like. It's now every single one of these is going to be completely unique, right? And so this is obviously terrible email copy, but what this shows you is that you have this syntax technique in here, and so that every single one that you send out is now going to be unique, right? So if there's something that you're saying, maybe it's the end of your email, maybe it's somewhere in the middle, and you're saying it again and again and again, you can actually change this so every single email is unique. What this is going to mean is that you have less chance of the email provider associating your emails being the same, because obviously if you're sending out the exact same email copy on a domain and email account that is not supposed to be associated with a different domain in a different email account, then of course, might start to piece it together that these are working together, and you might all get banned at one time. Now, this is a bit of a theory, and it's not something that I have a whole lot of data on. It's not something that's ever happened to me, but I would always make sure that you're using some kind of, I think it's called Spintax, which basically just some kind of code in there, which means that it changes every single email that you send out. And then lastly, when you are actually inside of the email account, so not when you are using Smart Lead or Instantly or anything like that, when you're actually logged into the email accounts, I always make sure that I'm using a VPN. Okay, now this video isn't sponsored by NordVPN. I kind of wish it was, but what this means is that you can literally just come in here, and I always use a United States email address because I'm usually emailing people in the United States. And so if you just put some 4-digit number in here, like 3333, maybe that's going to work. Then it will usually give you, if I do 8001, it will give you a United States one. Just it's typical that I can't actually go and find one. How am I not finding one? Hold on. There we go. Right. For some reason, I was not able to find one there, but there is like 10,000 of these. But you can literally just connect to any United States VPN. And then what you want to do is if you go over to a website called MyIP, you can find, obviously now it says I'm in the United States, you can find the IP here, and then there's a website called Talos Intelligence, and they have a reputation center, right? And you can literally just paste in the IP address here, and it will tell you the level of spam on this email, right? On this IP address. And so you want to find an IP address that has very low spam, and so I hope this one will have. Yeah, so this has neutral IP reputation, so not really anything too major. There's no sort of big bans on this or blocks on this, and then also the spam level is medium. We'd be looking for one that says low or none, but that would probably be fine. And you just want to make sure that every time you log in with these emails, you're actually using this IP address, this VPN, right? And the cool thing about NordVPN is you can go to this very specific IP address every single time, and so you can make a note of this somewhere, put it into a spreadsheet or something, and basically every time that you want to interact with this email, then you want to make sure that you're logged in. So if you set up this whole system and you're sending out 1,000 emails every single week, I have no doubt that you are going to be able to sign, 10 to 15 appointments every single week. If you're getting 1% appointment booking rate, which is kind of the bare minimum, then you're going to get 10 every single week. And of course you can scale with that and change your copy, reiterate, test different things, and you'll probably do very well. If you are looking to sign more clients for your agency and you want someone to do all this stuff for you, click the first link in the description. Don't worry, it's not some, sign up. We're not going to ask for anyone's phone number, email, or anything like that. It's literally just a video of me explaining what my company does and how we do this and how we've been able to figure all this stuff out so that we can book lots of appointments for all of our clients. You don't have to click it, of course. This channel can just be for you to learn things, and you never have to click that link in your life if you don't want to. I don't really care, but the link is always there if anyone does want to click it. But yeah, like the video if you liked the video, and comment if you want me to cover anything specifically, and subscribe if you want to see more of these. Yeah, appreciate you watching this one to the end. Cheers.